The issue that happens in the human mind is when chaos occurs, what we do is we get scared. We think in binary terms. I'm either going to survive or I'm not going to survive. And the other thing that happens, we think that there's a false end. Like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my job. But we can't think, oh, and get a better job. And so I thought it would be really a great idea to make a video talking about how when the world falls apart, when there's chaos, it requires us to fully feel the fear so we can get to the other side of the fear and to look through it and say, oh, this is this time for opportunity. So when the world is in chaos, it is a time full of a massive opportunity. It is also a time where growth is most likely to happen. Just like if you're in a relationship and the relationship falls apart, that's a time when you can get a lot of growth, a lot of personal growth, where you can learn a lot about yourself. Or the time that you lose a job is a time where you can learn a lot about yourself. Transition is a place of growth. Think about it like a forest fire for a second. We tried to stop forest fires. We tried to stop that chaos. We tried to stop that transition. And what did we do? We got really overwhelmed, overgrown forests that when they burnt a lot hotter. We found out things like redwood trees and trees need fire to open up their seeds to get new growth. We created stagnation, whereas the native people who lived before would light the forest on fire on a regular basis. They would burn the forest so that they would have a healthier forest. So there was more space to hunt so that there was not as much overgrowth. So similarly, there's a way to look forward and go, yeah, let's have a little chaos. Let's have some transition. Let's grow from it. And there's a way to say, oh, let's stop it. But when we say let's stop it, let's prevent it, what we're doing is we are creating more and more tension in the system. So when that transition inevitably occurs, it's just really big. So in this opportunity of a transition in the world, the first and most important step is to look back and see it for what it is. Get a 30,000 foot view. See that transition is part of life and that the fear of it is only going to hold you back from making the opportunity to make a better life, a better planet for everybody. So typically what I see happen in these moments of chaos is a large part of society gets scared and then they get very binary. This is right and this is wrong. But when you look at it from a perspective of, though this is transition, the fire is not right. The fire is not wrong. The fire is just doing what the fire is doing. It could only exist because the environment is ripe for the fire. And then that perspective is incredibly useful. Oh, all of them are holding wisdom. The wolf holds wisdom. The deer holds wisdom. The forest fire holds wisdom. The environment allows for wolves. The environment allows for deer. And so when you think about the opportunity is in shifting the environment. It's not in attacking the wolf and saying the wolf is bad. And a great example of this, which really rhymes with the other example, is there's this guy named Leopold. He was on the Kaibab Plateau, which is one of the plateaus on one of the sides of the Grand Canyon. And because it was this high place that animals couldn't get on and off, they had their own species of deer. And as a good early environmentalist, he said, I want to save the deer and I'm going to shoot all the mountain lions. So they shot all the mountain lions. The deer's population went from, don't quote me, but something like 30,000 to 100,000 to 300,000 to like 600. Because there was a natural balance that was with the deer and the mountain lion. This balance is part of life. If the balance is lost, then we're going to have these big, major falls. So that's the first thing. Second thing is to really understand what it is that you want to have come into the world. What is it that you're looking for in this transition, both for yourself and for your children and for society at large. If you're really only focused on yourself, then what's going to happen is you're far more prone to fear. But if you're thinking about it in a bigger way, oh, how do I help all of society? How do I help my children and my children's children? That allows it to not be personal and allows you to have a more calm state of mind. If you're only thinking about the other people, if you're only thinking about society and you're not thinking about you, you're not going to have the kind of solutions that are practical that are going to make a huge difference. Because if it doesn't apply to you, if you're not thinking about how it works for the individual, then most likely what's going to happen is you're going to think about a concept that is just a concept. And you can see there have been transitions in our world where ideas come, and I'll use communism as an example. Great idea, but it didn't work on an individual basis because people weren't saying, oh, I want to be doing the same job for the rest of my life and not have any way to get ahead. No, that doesn't work for me. And so it's really important to keep the perspective of both the individual and the society at large if you're going to have the most impact in a world that's in chaos. The other really important point of view to help you get the most out of a time when the world is in chaos is to go into the fear, to go into the pain, to go into the problem rather than to try to run away from it. Let's say you're getting a divorce. To feel in to the transition is a form of purification. It's a way in which we become better. It's the lesson that we're here to learn. And so if you go into the fear instead of trying to avoid it, you have a lot more options. Oh my gosh, I'm so scared. This is never going to happen. I got this binary set of options. If I feel my fear and I fully feel, oh, wait, this isn't just fear. This is some excitement. This is like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? What's possible? How do we make this better? All of those feelings get to flow in your system. If you cut it off, if you avoid that fear, then all you get is this constriction in your system. And that really limits your ability to think. So the first thing is to go into it. And when you go into it, one of the things that happens is it allows you to see what's actually there. And the opportunities that are right there are usually can't be seen years out. They can only be seen in this moment that's happening 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 2 or 3 months ahead of time. So think about how COVID moved through the system. There was a whole bunch of people at the beginning that were, oh yeah, this is going to last 1 or 2 weeks, no problem. Any kind of historical evidence whatsoever would have told you, no, this is going to last more than 2 or 3 weeks. You could have just looked at the Spanish influenza. But I don't want to actually feel the fact that I might be stuck in my house for 6 months, so I'm just going to deny it. If you could feel, oh, I'm going to be stuck in my house for 2 to 6 months, what does that mean? Oh, well, that means I have an opportunity to get close to my family. That means I have an opportunity to buy a house out in the country before everybody else does. That means I have an opportunity to invest in electronics because that's what everybody's going to buy because there's still Amazon. It shows you all sorts of opportunities that you cannot have if you avoid this feeling of, oh my God, I'm stuck in this house for fucking a year. This is going to suck. You have to actually feel that. You have to allow that feeling to go through the system, get past the fear, get on the other side of the fear, not by denying the fear, but by feeling the fear. And then boom, you can start seeing the opportunities that are just right ahead of you. So right now we are in a chaotic time in our society. And it seems to happen every 80 years. You can historically look back and see every 85 years or so, you can see these chaotic times arise. And you can see that our institutions change about every year, 80 years. And there's this opportunity for the system to get a lot better, that you can only get that opportunity when there is a transition. And so the question is, can you allow yourself to feel and understand, oh, this is a time of transition. Things are going to change. My life is going to probably change. Can I accept that? Can I allow for that to happen? Can I see the fight that wants to happen, the forest fire that wants to happen? Where do I want to be positioned? Where do I want to position society for that? That's the opportunity that's here. And what I've noticed is that when people come to me in periods of chaos, whether it's a societal chaos like COVID, or whether it's personal chaos like divorce or losing a job, and they really say, I'm going to lean in here, the growth that they experience is phenomenal, because there's this natural motivator to grow that you don't have if everything's good. If you can just keep on hanging out and watching your television and your suburban lifestyle and buy the next pair of Clark shoes or the Nike tennis shoes, no reason to change, no motivation. But when, the world's on fire, when there's, oh my gosh, economy is not potentially going to look the same in 6 months. Oh my gosh, like we might be in a great war that's happening. Then there's this opportunity to say, oh, whoa, I have to do something that's got to change. Are we going to do this thing? Yeah, we're going to do this thing. And so if you can lean in, if you can move through the fear, not avoid the fear, move through the anger, not avoid the anger, then you have this opportunity to make a massive difference in your life and the life of other people.